I defines bold and italic text, but strong and is usually displayed as bold in the browser. Next is the I.
This is Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises, built to meet any brief. When you're
In an earlier chapter, we went over the HTML style attribute. But did you know HTML also has elements for defining text with a special meaning? Of course not. That's why you're watching this video. See these HTML elements. They correspond to formatting output, like bold or italic text, respectively. But it goes beyond bold or italics. There are many different ways to display special types of text. Let's start with the B and strong elements. B defines a bold text without any extra importance. Strong defines strong text. This indicates important text and is usually displayed as bold in the browser. Next is the I and EM elements. I defines italic text, while EM defines emphasized text. One important thing to note is that browsers display strong as B and EM as I, but there's a difference in the meaning of these tags. B and I defines bold and italic text, but strong and EM means that the text is important as well. Next comes small. It does exactly what you're thinking, makes text smaller. Then there's the mark element. This element defines marked or highlighted text. There are also elements that define deleted and inserted text. Use the DEL element, which defines deleted or removed text. Then there are subscripted text and superscripted text. SUB is for subscripted and SUP is for superscripted. Doesn't get much easier than that. Just to recap, here are the different HTML text formatting elements and how they can change any text.
and Nature Thrive. As the world's leading conservation organization, WWF works in nearly 100 countries at every level. We collaborate with people around the world to develop and deliver innovative solutions that protect communities, wildlife, and the places in which we live. HTML block quote for quotations. The HTML block quote element defines a section that is quoted from another source. Browsers usually indent block quote elements. HTML_Q for short quotations. The HTML_Q tag defines a short quotation. Browsers normally insert quotation marks around the quotation. The future where people live in harmony with HTML ABBR for abbreviations. The HTML ABBR tag defines an abbreviation or acronym like HTML, CSS, Mr. Doctor, ASAP, ATM. Marking abbreviations can give useful information to browsers, translation systems, and search engines. Tip: use the global title attribute to show the description of the abbreviation slash acronym when you use mouse over the element. The in 48. Oh, HTML address for contact information. The HTML address tag defines the contact information for the author slash owner of a document or an article. The contact information can be an email address, URL, physical address, phone number, social media handle, etc. The text in the address element usually renders in italic, and browsers will always add a line break before and after the address element. Okay. Nice. HTML site for work title. The HTML site tag defines the title of a creative work, e.g., a book, a poem, a song, a movie, a painting, a sculpture, etc. Note, a person's name is not the title of a work. The text in the site element usually renders in italic. Ugh, okay. Uh, frame p site screen site by Edward Munch, painted in 1893. Okay, nice. HTML BDO for bidirectional override. BDO stands for bidirectional override. The HTML BDO tag is used to override the current text direction. RTL, all right. Which of the following is not a quotation element, in fact, not an HTML element at all? Uh, oh, that's text below should be a quoted section. Add the proper HTML element and specify that it is quoted following URL. Hmm. Change text. Oh, yeah. The letters WHO in the text below is an abbreviation of World Health Organization. Use an HTML element to provide the specified abbreviation of Who? Title. Right? Oh, yeah. Okay. Work title. And the LTR is left to right. Comments, HTML comments. HTML comments are not displayed in the browser, but they can help document your HTML source code. HTML comment tag. You can add comments to your HTML source by using the following syntax. Notice there's an exclamation point in the start tag, but not in the end tag. So I did it right? Comments not displayed by the browser, but can help document your HTML source code. Add comments. With comments, you can place notifications and reminders in your HTML code. Example, the paragraph. Remember to add information here. Hide content. Comments can be used to hide content. This can be helpful if you hide content temporarily. Example. You can also hide more than one line. Everything between the exclamation and will be hidden from the display. Hide a section of HTML code. This is a paragraph. This is a cool image. In which border? So comments are also great for debugging HTML because you can comment out HTML lines of code one at a time to search for errors. Hide inline content. Comments can be used to hide parts in the middle of the HTML code. Hide a part of the paragraph. What is the correct syntax for adding a comment in HTML? TML. Use the HTML comment tag to make a comment out of the "this is a comment" text. Did it? Correct answer. Add comment tags around the paragraph. Congratulations, you completed the HTML comment exercises from HTML from w3schools.com. Okay.
Hi Jane, that is actually not in my job description at all and not something I would ever take on.
Okay, fine. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that.
Now we will learn about comments. Not the bottomless pit of YouTube comments, but HTML comment tags, which are used to insert comments in the HTML source code. You can add comments to your HTML source by using this syntax. Make sure to note that there is an exclamation point in the opening tag, but not in the closing tag. Comments are not displayed in the browser. They're used to help document your HTML source code. As you input comments, you can use them to place notifications and reminders in your HTML. See you next lesson. Today's lesson will be perfect for you right-brain thinkers. The topic: HTML colors. HTML colors can be specified using color names, RGB, or hex values.
Hold on, what are you doing? Next. Oh, I gotta. Okay. Cool. Forever. Dang, it's only $15 a month. Hmm. I did this one. HTML colors are specified with predefined color names or with RGB, HEX, HSL, RGBA, or HSLA values. Why am I still texting? Thank you for watching. I hope you guys are doing good. Color names. In HTML, a color can be specified by using color name. Tomato orange, Dodger blue, medium sea green, gray, slate blue, violet, light gray. Okay. Which one? Style, background, color, tomato, tomato. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Gray. Light blue, light gray. Awesome. 140 standard color names. Background color. You can set the background color for HTML elements. Nice. Style. Potato. Hold on. Okay. Text color. You can set the color of the text. Oh, wait. Color. Nice. Border color. You can set the color of borders. Which one? Tile. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Color values. In HTML, colors can be specified using RGB values, hex values, HSL values, RGBA values, and HSLA values. The following three div elements have their backgrounds color set with RGB, hex, and HSL values. The following two div elements have their background color set with RGBA and HSLA values, which add an alpha channel to the color. The following div elements have their background color set with RGBA and HSLA values, which add an alpha color channel to the color. Here we have 50% transparency. Oh, okay, so equals background color RGB 100, 64, 0.5. Okay. You remember any legal HTML color codes? One of the following is a legal HTML color. HTML color. Insert the correct property to make the text color violet. The alpha channel of a color controls the color transparency, but which of the following values is most transparent? What? Learn more about color values. What is going on with this? Why does my audio not work?
Today's lesson will be perfect for you right-brain thinkers. The topic: HTML colors. HTML colors can be specified using color names, RGB or hex values. HTML supports 140 predefined color names. Let's try to use color names in our HTML. First, set the background color like this. Then you can set the color of the text like this. If you want to give your text a border, insert the following code. But you can be more detailed than just picking a color name. Using RGB or hex, you have more than 16 million color possibilities. That means you can turn the color of this tomato from this to that. All you did was increase the amount of green. Now, let's learn about RGB values. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. Each parameter, red, green, and blue, defines the intensity of the color between 0 and 255. So if you need a real red's red, Then set the red parameter to 255 and the other two colors to 0. But what about displaying black or white? To get black, all color parameters must be set to 0. Alternatively, to get white, all color parameters must be set to 255. By using different combinations of red, green, and blue, you have over 16 million color possibilities. And if you're trying to get gray, use equal values of all three color sources. Now let's learn about hexadecimal color values, or hex. The hex syntax starts with a hashtag followed by 6 characters. Just like the RGB color values, these characters represent red, green, and blue. But now they are hex numbers and go from 00 to FF. So to get red, set the value to the highest number, which is FF, and the other two to the lowest number, 00. See? There is also an extension of RGB color values with an alpha channel which specifies the opacity for a color. This is called RGB A. The alpha parameter is a number between 0.0, which is fully transparent, and 1.0, which is not transparent at all. And there you are. Now go out and add color to your HTML world.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are
I'm busy right now. Oh yeah, have some of this. Oh, this gotta be so cold. Ah, HTML and RGBA colors. And RGB color value represents red, green, and blue light sources. And RGBA color value is an extension of RGB and with an alpha channel opacity. RGB colors in HTML, a color can be specified as an RGB value using this formula. RGB, red, green, blue. Each parameter, red, green, and blue, defines the intensity of the color with a value between 0 and 255. This means that there are 256 by 256 by 256 equals 16,777,216 possible colors. For example, RGB 25500 is displayed as red because red is set to its highest value, 255, and the other two, green and blue, are set to 0. Another example, RGB 0, 255, 0 is displayed as green because green is set to its highest value, 255, and the other two, red and blue, are set to 0. To display black, set all color parameters to 0, like this, RGB 000. To display white, set all color parameters to 255, like this, RGB 255 to 55 to 55. Experiment by mixing the RGB values below. RGB. Shades of gray. Shades of gray are often defined using equal values for all three parameters. RGB colors. RGB color values are an extension of RGB color values with an alpha channel, which specifies the opacity for a color. An RGB color value is specified with RGB red, green, blue, alpha. The alpha parameter is a number between 0.0, fully transparent, and 1.0, not transparent at all. Experiment by mixing RGBA values below. That's the alpha. Hello. What is the color of the following text? Hello. It is green. Correct answer. Let me know if you guys want me to play a game or something. Enter the correct RGB color values to make the background color completely blue. My computer doesn't really do much. Can't really take too much, but I'll try to find a game. P style equals background color RGB. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I know. 255. Yes. Insert the A background color where green value has the value of 100, red has the value of 106, and blue has the value of 205. P style equals background color RGB 100, 106, 205. What? Okay, 205, 106, 100. What? Oh, 106, 100, 205. Mm, hold on. Okay. All right. A hexadecimal color is specified with RRGGBV, where the RR red, GG green, and BV blue. Hexadecimal integers specify the components of the color. Hex color values. In HTML, a color can be specified using a hexadecimal value in the form, where RR red, GG green, and BV blue are hexadecimal values between 00 and FF, same as decimal. For example, FF0000 is displayed as red because red is set to its highest value, FF, and the other two, green and blue, are set to 00. Another example, 00FF00 is displayed as green because green is set to its highest value, FF, and the other two, red and blue, are set to 00. To display black, all color parameters to 00 like this. Hashtag 000000. To display white, set all color parameters to FF, like this. Hashtag FFFFFF. Experiment by mixing the hex values below. I like that color. Turquoise, I guess. Okay, neon. Turquoise. 45 the dates E1. Try it yourself. Okay. Code writing. H1 style equals background color. Save. Save. Nice. Okay. Close that. Close those. Shades of gray. I did that. What is the highest X number of the following? Drawing. Numbers. Right? EV. Okay, white. Okay. BE, BE. Oh, AO. Okay. So, what is okay, I did that. HTML, HSL, and HSLA colors. The HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. HSL A color values are an extension of HSL with a alpha channel opacity. HSL color values. In HSL HTML, a color can be specified using hue, saturation, lightness, HSL in the form HSL hue, saturation, lightness. Hue is a degree on the color wheel from 0 to 360. 0 is red, 120 is green, and 240 is blue. Saturation is a percentage value. 0% means a shade of gray, and 100% is the full color. Lightness is also a percentage value. 0% is black and 100% is white. Experiment by mixing the HSL values below. Saturation can be described as the intensity of a color. 100% is pure color, no shades of gray. 50% is 50% gray, but you can still see the color. 0% is completely gray. You can no longer see the color. Lightness. The lightness of a color can be described as much as how much light you want to give the color, where 0% means no light, black. 50% means 50% light, neither dark nor light, and 100% means full lightness, white. Shades of gray. Shades of gray are often defined by setting the hue and saturation to 0 and adjusting the lightness from 0% to 100% to get darker/lighter shades. HSL color values. HSL color values are an extension of HSL color values with an alpha channel, which specifies the opacity for a color. All right, I need to at least do this. Which one? Style, background, color, HSL, 0, 0%, 90%, 100%. HSL, 0, 0%, 20%. 2, 3, 4, 5. Forty, 40, 60, 60, 70, 70, 90, 90. What happened? Oh, okay. I do this. I need to do this. Mhm. Hmm. What's going on? Oh, right here. Okay. HSL color values. HSL color values are an extension of HSL color values with an alpha channel, which specifies the opacity for color. An HSL color value is specified with HSL hue, saturation, lightness, alpha. The alpha parameter is a number between 0.0, full transparency, and 1.0, not transparent at all. Experiment by mixing the HSL values below. Which of the following color values will result in a black color? Just insert the HSL value to make a color with no hue. 100% saturation, 50% lightness, 50% transparency. Okay, so HSL, okay, nice. What does HSL stand for? Hue, saturation, and lightness. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Nice. What is CSS? CSS, Cascading Style Sheets, CSS, is used to format the layout of a page. With CSS, you can control the color, font, the size of text, the spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, what background images or background colors are to be used, different displays for different devices and screen sizes, and much more. Tip: the word cascading means that a style applied to a parent element will also apply to all children elements within the parent. So if you set the color of the body text to blue, all headings, paragraphs, and other text elements within the body will also get the same color, unless you specify something else. Using CSS, CSS can be added to HTML documents in 3 ways. Inline, by using the style attribute using HTML elements. Internal, by using a style element in the head section. External, by using a link element to link to an external CSS file. The most common way to add CSS is to keep the styles in external CSS files. However, in this tutorial, we will use inline and internal styles because this is easier to demonstrate and easier for you to try it yourself. Inline CSS. An inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single element HTML element. And inline CSS uses the style attribute for an HTML element. The following example sets the text color of the H1 element to blue and the text color of the P element to red. H1 style color blue, a blue heading H1. P style equals color red, a red paragraph. P H1 style. Oh, I'm all done. H1 blue heading. So I just did CSS. But, internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of an HTML page within a style element. The following example sets the text color of all the H1 elements on that page to blue and the text color of all the P elements to red. In addition, the page will be displayed with a powder blue background color. Nice. Background color of page. Background color powder blue. Internal CSS and external CSS. An external style sheet is used to define the style for many HTML pages. to use an external style sheet and add a link to it in the head section of each HTML page. The external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file must not contain any HTML code and must be saved with a CSS extension. Here is what the styles.css file looks like. You can change the look of an entire website by changing one file. Okay. Yes. Water, blue, blue. Styles.css. Okay. Okay. Why doesn't it say? CSS colors, fonts, and sizes. Here we will demonstrate some commonly used CSS properties. You will learn more about them later. The CSS color property defines the color text. Hmm. Example, use of CSS color, font family, and font size properties. I already did that already. CSS border. The CSS border property defines a border around an element, HTML element. Tip: you can define a border for nearly all HTML elements. Example: use of CSS border property. So I was using CSS already. CSS padding. The CSS padding property defines a padding space between the text and the border. Use of CSS border and padding properties. Oh, I gotta charge my computer, so I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you later.